Good morning, Midnight Coders. Welcome to a live blog. So this is going to be a continuation of the Game Engine blog, um, but this is just sort of a live stream of what's going on. So for those of you that are watching, welcome, welcome, and hello. I see we've got Power Trip. Hello, welcome to the chat. Thanks for logging in. Welcome to the stream. So, if you've been following my blog, um, I started picking at this game engine back on the 30th of April, and I had what inspired it was originally I was writing a game engine in 2016, 2017, just honestly exploring something I had no idea about. Kind of like how we all get started. And I couldn't do very well. I didn't do very well. I was not as skillful as I thought I was back then. I was not wasn't quite as good. But I have since then grown some skills, grown as a person, grown as a developer. Um, and so I have started the challenge of rebuilding it from scratch again, taking just merely the inspiration from it. And I started it on the 30th of April, so just under a month ago, or less than 4 weeks ago. And so far, we've got it so that we have a rendering game engine. We can explore our map. We have different tabs that we can open up. We've got an inventory. We've got items. We've got an audio system now. We've got volume control. We've got playlists, music in game. We've got we've got quite a bit. All right, dude. Thanks for popping in, Power Trip. Hopefully you have a good day, and feel free to check back in with us later. I uh, I managed to get it get the audio system kind of to where at least to where I want it for now. I'm not going to say it's perfected because like I have a lot in my mind that I want to do to it and add to it, and so but I threw together a quick little UI panel so that we had something to see, something visual to be able to play with and turn up the volume, down the volume. I didn't do pause or play. I just simply did mute, unmute, and uh, yeah. So I got to do some other things. I have the ability for these tracks to be locked or unlocked as well. So like in theory, there's going to be a huge list of all the music in the game, and um, as you explore the map, you're going to unlock different things, go into different dungeons. You'll have different tracks or audio music that will get unlocked. There's going to be sound effects. So there's a few different things I'm going to be doing to the audio panel, but I've got a basic panel right now. Have a good day there, Power Trip. It is nice to chat with people. I love chatting with the live chat. So if you guys are watching, if anyone's watching and you want to chat, feel free to throw a message. This isn't just kind of about me. I'm looking to interact with the community. I like to interact with people. I like to yap too, so that's kind of a downside. Goodness, I just tried to inhale. So you can't breathe coffee as much as I like it and think I can. You can't breathe coffee. You have to drink it. Whew, that was fun. Um, Okay. Well, I am looking to now that we've got a bit of an audio control, I'm looking to see if I can get some of the other aspects done. So we're looking to explore the backpack today. We're gonna look at how we can lay the ground for a few things, and I say lay the ground with absolutely no pun because we're gonna try to drop items today. Um, so I am going to be aiming to create a. I've got a little road map here that not anybody can see because I'm still sharing my big face. All right, let's get me out of the way here. Let's get my IntelliJ opened up and let's take a look and see at what it is that I am doing. All right, so I've got this roadmap of sorts, if you will, for what we are kind of planning on doing. So we're gonna make a game object, which is going to be something that's going to be visible for the game itself. Um, it's not the same thing as it is, but it isn't the same idea as like an object that spawns in the game. It's more like a game prop. I guess that's no game object is that. Yeah, we're gonna. I didn't say that. Y'all didn't see that. We're just working on this. All right, so we're gonna make a ground item. We're gonna give it a time to live. We're gonna say that it's gonna have an item, and we're gonna say that whether or not it's expired. We're gonna make a simple a ground item manager, which is gonna have the ability to add a ground item, update the ground items, get the list of items, as well as remove any expired items. From there, we're also then gonna work on an inventory drop system so that we can because right now we can right click on items in our inventory. So I want to be able to choose the drop option and have it get the slot and the item, create a ground item, remove it from the inventory and backpack, and then I want to make sure that I can then render the ground item to the screen so that we have it registered to the world. And then once we've got that, I want to see if I can still have time to add a pickup system. Uh, and we're going to see if we can be able to then right click or left click on our items on the ground to pick them up. Um, this is going to be a little bit different, and I'm not sure exactly if I want to make it so that I have to click on um, if I can actually click on it or not, but I don't know if I want to make it so that I have to click on it or make it just that I walk over it and like, I don't know. I'm gonna figure out how I want to make it so that you pick up items, but we're gonna be doing a pickup system. So that's kind of the roadmap for why is this guy? Why were you off on your own? There. So that's kind of the roadmap that we're looking for here is we're going to create some ground items. We're going to create a ground item manager. We're going to make a drop system. We're going to render our ground items, and we're going to make a pickup system. So that's sort of what's on the plate for today. So again, to sort of start things off, we're going to take a look to see to see what we got going for creating some ground items and recognize and yeah let's see what we got here. Um, Sorry there, I missed a little bit of that chat there, Power Trip. Uh, okay, you're working on a game where you have to trick an AI into helping you, but the AI refuses to help you. That's kind of interesting. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. What what kind of style are you looking to go for with that game? Are you looking for something that's like an action adventure? Are you looking for something that's more like a turn-based? Are you like aiming for something that's sort of like an RPG with some different levels? Like, sorry if I'm like derailing this into you, but like that's kind of cool. That's a little interesting. It's a web game. Okay, so it's like a browser-based game. Ah, that's cool. It's kind of cool. Just a troll game. Okay. Hey, whatever, man. Whatever works. Like as long as it gets you experience at the end of the day, that level up your developer life. All right. So, what do we need to do to make a ground item here? Hmm. Well, I guess this is going to be an entity. What's our entity look like? What's our entity look like? It's got a world X, an update, a render, and yeah, okay. So this ground item is definitely going to be an entity. Okay. So let's make a new package and just call this, we're just going to call this ground. And I am going to make a new class for, we're just going to call it ground item. Okay. So we'll make a ground item. The ground item is going to extend an entity. Okay. And the entity again doesn't need anything like, okay. Okay. But I am going to make an update and a render. No, 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 no. Okay. So we're going to need an update and a render in here. Okay. And we're going to need some final. Do I want this to be an integer? I suppose it's fine with an integer. This is going to be the time to live. Um, okay, what else do I want? Okay. It's actually no fact that. Oh, dude. You must not know me very well, man. So I've been doing programming, Java specifically for 25, yeah, 2001, so it'd be 25 years. Um, I've been doing other programming languages for less, but yeah, I know all about burnout, dude, and I know all about the reasons why people quit their projects and just to move on to different things. I've done that in my younger years. I don't get discouraged as easily anymore at this point. I'm to the point in my development career in life where this is just a pleasure to me. I no longer sweat the small things. I enjoy the challenge. I accept the challenge. I love the puzzle, the solving, the figuring out. Like, I don't know, I like errors. Errors help me learn, errors help me grow. And as for hours, I can easily clock in 60 hours a week of just nothing but programming and typing, let alone the countless amount of hours that go into the design and planning behind that. I I'm a weird brand of people. All right. I want to take in the item. What was I taking in? Okay, so I'm gonna take in the ground item, or I want to take in the ground item. Okay. So I want to create a couple of constructors just so that I have one that I can just pass in an item and provide it with the default, and the other one is I want to be able to um, I want to be able to actually provide one and give it a little bit of an override. So there's those two. So now dum. This is seconds. Maybe this should be game ticks instead. And what is a game tick? Where does a game tick go, Mike? Game tick goes as far as, yeah, you scene manager update. Game delta this interval. All right. What did I set this as? Was it 1 second or was it 60 frames? The update interval, that's a billion divided by 60. Okay. It's a billion nanoseconds divided by 60. So yeah, that is divide that by 60 and we're looking at the update interval is 16 and that is nanoseconds. Why do I feel like that's the update interval is then current time. Okay, so last time nanoseconds, current time is this. Current time nanoseconds, that's accurate. So how much time has passed since the interval? It's greater than 1 tick. Yeah, okay, so it's roughly 1 second. Okay, so I can come back to and that's right, time to live can't be final. Yeah, time to live can't be final. Okay, I'm fine with that. Okay, so for expired, just don't do anything. And if the time to live minus minus is less than equal to 0, we're doing this. Otherwise, we're just going to, I suppose, continue to update. Yeah, I suppose that's about all I realistically need for now. I think that's all I need for now. I don't know, we'll toy with that, see how it goes, and then run some benchmarks. Um, I just want to see if I get this to work. So, dude, if I ever get 1 million subscribers, I will eat my hat. There's no way I'm ever going to see 1 million subscribers on this channel. But like, you can hold this to me right now. If I get 1 million subscribers on this channel, I will take this hat, I will cut it up into pieces, and I will eat this bitch on live stream. There's no way I'm getting 1 million subscribers. No way. Hell, if I was to hit that many, I would personally buy at least 10 subscribers a 1 year license. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have that high of hopes for me to hit 1 million ever. If I ever hit 1 million, I don't know. There'd be a big celebration, but I can't see that ever happening. However, aim for the moon, shoot for the stars. All right. So when I want to create a ground item, I just want to say, okay, ground item is this item, or I want to say that it has time to live, and then if I'm going through the time to live here, if it's expired, I want to stop, and if it's running through, and if the time to live is equal to, then I want to go ahead and say that it is expired, and I'll potentially log some information and analytics in that later. That can be to, okay, and what else do I need to know about this? Technically. I suppose it would be good to know. Um, okay, so so we're gonna take a ground item and we're gonna take an owner because I want to make sure certain items. Okay, the whole thought process here is that I'm trying to plan down the road for like what I want to do with this game. So I know that eventually I'm gonna have this be an online aspect, and I'm gonna have the ability to have more than one player in a map doing something, and I know that that's going to lead to more than one person dropping an item, and so I do eventually, if things go as far as I want, I have some plans that I do want to do with the game. One of those things is if this game happens to be as good as I think it's going to be, or at least as good as I hope it's going to be, I want to be able to add in a game mode called Iron Man, where you're basically self-sufficient. And one of those features is going to be the fact that you cannot pick up somebody else's items. So, whenever we create a ground item, whether it be an NPC died, a loot item got dropped, whether a player has dropped an item, whether a player dies and drops an item, whether however they get created, I need to be able to say this item was created for this person. So the idea here is I want to be able to track the owner that this ground item was created for so that hopefully down the road I can future proof this so that everything is all ready to go. and I can be like, yeah, you can't pick up somebody else's items. So, in case you're wondering why I'm doing that here, this is just um, what's going on here. Now, other stuff that's going to be going on here, and I should probably actually add that return back in here. Um, so, other things to do here is going to be most listener. So when we click on an item, we want to be able to update it. So that's going to be a little to-do option that we're going to be doing in here. And this updater is listening for most events. So I'm going to plan that out as well. All right. So now rendering, I got to figure that out. What is the other thing that I need with this? Because there is something else I need. That's right. Oh my goodness, how did I forget that? So we also need a position. Yeah. So we're going to need to take in a position of this item. So this item at this place for this person. So I want to spawn this item at this position for this person. Okay. So this at here for this person with this time to live. And that's when we say this. Okay, there we go. So there's this, and I want to, of course, make that. Okay, there we go. I think that's a little more. Okay, so I want to be able to say I want to create a ground item. This is the item, this is where it's at, and this is the person who owns it. Now, what else do I need to know about this? What else is it that I need to know about this, Mike? There are different maps, different areas, different things. Okay, so maybe I'm going to need to know. I might need to know which map this item is in because there's going to be so many through. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to need to take in game map and just call it the map that this is going to be in. Okay, so that should be all right. And now I need to do a game map. Okay, so the idea of the game map is just keeping track so I can keep track of where things are being rendered and if certain areas are actually populated, so to speak. Because I'm going to be doing some predictive ways to clean things up a little bit smoother that I have in mind. And some of these ideas are so. Let's say that the um, let's say that there's because when you move from one map to another, there's going to be an entry point to the map. So what I want to be able to do is eventually I'm going to be making a region manager that's going to keep track of all of the regions in the game, and it's going to keep track eventually of, and it's not going to be in the game engine. This is like later on down the road when I get to the server side and the MMO aspect. I'm going to be keeping track of all of the active regions as well as all of the regions that exist. The active regions are going to be regions that actively have players in them, not NPCs. I don't care about the NPCs. I only care about the players. So if there's actually a player inside of a region, that region is going to be marked for as an active region, and thus everything in it will be updated. in that map. However, I'm going to use a little bit of intelligence, of an intelligent system when I do this, so that if by chance, because it's going to check every tick to see if the TTL is done. And something that I would like to do to save a little bit of memory is that on every, say, every like modular of 3 or 4, I want to um, be able to sort of predict. So like let's say there's nobody in, or this region has just become empty, and somebody was in this region and they died. They dropped their items. Now there's ground items that need to be updated, but this person just died, so they respawned at home. So no, they're no longer in that region. That region is now flagged as empty, and it's going to go into a cooldown state. So if nobody goes into that region within the next X amount of game ticks, it's going to be then marked for clearing. And the idea that I want to do is when a region is marked for clearing, I want to use a little bit of predictiveness to be like, okay, there is only 5 seconds left for this item before it's going to be marked for removal anyway. And we know that based on the speed, a player cannot get back to that item in time. So we'll make sort of a predictive guess, like if because by the time it takes a player to log to like get into a region and then travel across the map to get to it, we know that that item's going to be gone. So like I wanna see. Like I'm not saying I'm gonna do it, but I want to see if I can add in a little formula that's going to kind of predictively check to see, all right, if no one's going to come back to this, we're just going to waste a few cycles on updating an item that's never going to get picked up, and we're just going to remove it anyway. Kind of like an advanced garbage collector, if you will, for ground items. Um, so that's something that's been in my mind while I've been planning and designing this idea. Um, but we're gonna also need in here a ground item manager, which is going to be this is going to be a class that's going to keep track of all of the ground items in the game. So this is going to be something that's going to be sort of like a singleton instanced thing. So we're definitely going to have a private static um, uh, game ground item manager instance, and then we're going to have a get instance, but I don't like that because we want to do a null check. Yeah, there we go. So this will be just a way to get an instance of, get a singleton instance um, of this class. And I'm also going to make um, a private constructor just so that it can't be instantiated. And yeah, that's kind of the reason behind that. So now everything else down here is going to be basically business logic. So we are going to have a um, private final list, because I'm just going to make it as a list of ground items just to keep track of all of the ground items. Um, and we'll assign that in our constructor. Hey guys, welcome back, dude. All right, so we're gonna, in here, we want to be able to keep a list of all these ground items. We're gonna want a way to add ground items. So we're gonna make a public void add ground item, which is going to add it. Um, we're going to have a way to remove a specific ground item, but I also want a way to, okay, sure, we'll make a way to get them, sure. Um, I also want a way to update all of the ground items. So there is going to be an update method. What am I doing? There's going to be an update, and this update is going to take in a delta because we do want to keep track of how much time has passed um, since the last time. And for that, we are going to do items dot update, and we're going to pass in the delta, and this can be compressed into. Wait, what? Oh, Jesus. That's why. Ah, okay, whatever. Screw you. Either way. So if we're going to update each of the ground items, and what do we got here? So that'll pulse an update on each of the ground items for all of this, and what am I doing? What am I doing? I want to be able to way to flag these for expired. So this here, if this is this, update this for each one of them. Okay. And in here, okay, so if these are expired, I want to if it is expired, we're just returning, and if the TTL this is expired, we're doing that. Okay, so managers for each ground item do this, do that, and update that, and then what I want to do is if the ground item is expired. Oh, I don't got a boolean for that. Okay, cool. I didn't write getter. There we go. Okay, so if it is expired, then we just simply want to um, remove it, which realistically, I could just have two separate loops that kind of go over and whatever. I'm not going to do it in two. I'm just making it in one. All right, so the ground item manager is going to have a way to add items, remove item, which I'm not going to rewrite this. We're just going to, come on now. Just going to remove the ground item. Um, yeah, I suppose we'll need a, yeah, okay. So we're going to add a public void render with a renderer, and we'll do the same thing there. So we'll make sure to render our game items. So now these get properly called, and we'll be able to add them, remove them, get them, okay. And why is this not just ground items? Like, go away. All right, so there's that. And we'll make a way to instantiate this and do this. And we'll kick that off. And then, okay. Update render. Because we need to make a way to call that from the main game loop. Okay, so that's going to need to be. Okay. And game item. Ground item is going to have the position. Okay. And we're going to update it and do that and that. Okay. So that is the ground item, the item expired, time to live, okay. Adding, updating, getting, and also in here, once we're done with this one here, we are going to remove expired ground items, and I will create this method. Yes, it's going to be a void, and this is going to ground items remove if expired. Yes, no. So we're gonna go with a for var ground item ground items. And now, so if ground item is expired, I want to remove it. But the other thing that I want to do. Okay, so and then down here, if this, remove this, but why are we doing that? I don't want that. I want to go with a logging framework, and we're just going to print out that we removed a bunch of game items. All right, so I'm adding a log here so that this way I can visually tell how many expired ground items were removed, if any. So if any happen to get removed, it's going to throw a console log just saying that there was X amount removed. So when we update this on a game cycle, we're going to go first through and we're going to check to see, we're going to update and pulse every game. And technically I don't need this. So we're going to run through and we're going to pulse every game item for an update, and then we are at the end of it all going to check to see if we can remove any of the expired ones. And I'll probably come up with a better way to do this as this unfolds and grows. But for now, this this seems okay-ish for now. Okay, so back in here, we are going to need a maybe I didn't need to make an instance of that because I'm just going to make a manager in here. Yeah, maybe I'm just going to do this, and we do this. Whatever, I'm just going to do that for now. Okay, so now update scene manager dot update. This is so it's going to update the scene manager. Okay, no, so this doesn't actually need to be here in this one. I can get rid of that. My bad, I don't need to put this here. I need to put you inside of the actual scene manager, I believe. Okay, so um, clean that up. My bad. I meant to go into sorry, I meant to go into game screen because this is the one that actually renders like the game scene. Um, So this is going to have all these. This is where we're going to have, here we go. Okay. This is going to have the ground item manager, which is going to get added in here as, throw that out there just for now. Okay. And now on load, yeah, that's okay. So update, we're going to have the player, we're going to update the entities, we're going to update the um, ground items, and then we'll do the UI. So in here, we're going to say ground item manager dot update, and we're going to pass in the delta. Required is int, provided is that. What? Oh, wow, okay, jeepers. Why did I make that? Okay, there we go. So now we're going to update that. Render, we're going to go with the object map, which no, networking players, no, projectiles, heads up. Where was I going to stick in ground items? I want the player to be over top of the ground item regardless. So I guess here. I guess we're going to stick that here to render our ground items. Okay. So that'll update the ground item manager. This will render the ground item manager, and the ground item manager is going to take care of all this, that, and the other thing. The scene manager is going to take care of initializing the ground manager and doing this. Okay, that's good, that's good. So now if I was into okay, so now I want to go into my inventory, I think. Is it my inventory? No, it's my inventory HUD. UI, interfaces, inventory HUD. Here we go. Okay. All right, so in here, we are updating in here the slots and each of these inventory slots. This is where we are handling our options, so to speak. And this is the context menu that gets updated and initialized. So the things to do here. Okay, so this is where we're updating the context menu. So I need to double check to see the context menu and see or set up where it is clicking and what option was clicked and this, that, and the other thing. Yes. So I'm looking for the context menu, which essentially updates the context options. Jeepers, drawn a blank. So the options in here. Okay, so these are the options here. Okay. So here's where I'm dropping over some options. And this is just for drink, for example. So I need to do, I think there's definitely a better way to do this. Equip, and they're doing their equipping. Else we'll say unknown action. But here we're going to say this is going to be drop. Okay, So what did I have? Drink, drop, equip, examine. There was examining. What were all the options I had? Drink, equip, drop, examine. There's use. Okay, that should do me enough for now anyway. Okay, okay. I just mainly want to make sure that I can right click and get these. Let's pop this open and take a look to see. So as you see, I've got these different items, and I can right click and there's a menu. So if I click on drink, I see that player is drinking item 0. Now, okay. So I did notice right there was a bug. Okay. So this is rendering 2. So if I hover over this and if I was to say use or drink, when I'm hovered over this other inventory slot, if I click on drink, I'm going to click through it and click everything beneath it. You'll see that it pops up saying that I'm attempting to equip the wooden staff, saying that the default left action was performed for the slot, and that I'm attempting to drink. So this works, but it's also clicking through to the one behind it, which is definitely what I do not want. However, I do want to be able to say drop an item, and now this says player is dropping item 2. I don't know what. Oh, okay, that's just the. Okay, so the index that makes a lot more sense. Is the option that I chose. Um, so which index of these? So that's just another way to go about that. So all right, so what we want to do here is when I click on drop, we see player is dropping item 2. So we are going into drop, and this is where we want to do some drop logic. Um, so first thing I want to do is going to be um, is get the item. So this one is going to be, we're inside of the slot, context menu, sorry, not slot. Um, so menu dot get selected game item, because I'd like to know what item it is that I'm getting. So now uh, okay, what do we got here? Get selected item. What is the selected item? It is a game item, which in this case needs to be an item. Okay. And that is, so item dot, okay, that's going to be the item that I need. Okay, okay, so that is the item I need. All right, so what I need to do here is next which slot this came from. Because this is setting up the context menu. Okay, so with options. Okay, display. Okay. And then I'm listening to there where I clicked. Okay, so I need to keep track of what item it is that I clicked on because I need to know what slot I took it from. Okay. So the context menu should know that this came from a slot. But not all context menus are going to come from a slot. I need to be able to track which slot this came from so I can come back into the player's inventory and get the specific slot index. Well, let's worry about that afterward. Let's digging into something that's not here yet. Okay, so context menu for dropping the item. So this is the item that we have. So first thing I want to do is create a, yeah, sure, let's add a warning. Okay, so I want to ground item. Shoot, how do I get the player that clicked this? Who was the user who clicked it? How do I get that? That would be the client, the current connected person, who is the... Oh, okay. So the inventory, not the inventory HUD, the slot where I'm passing this doesn't have the player. Game screen. Okay, so the slot, where does the slot come from? The slot comes from the inventory HUD, which does create slots, generate slots, excuse slot ID. Okay, that just adds a bunch of slots to the player's inventory HUD. I want to. Why did I make this so poor? Why did I design this the way I did? Oh my god. Okay. I want to be able to get the player, the person who clicked on the damn thing. And I'm not tracking them in any way. Um. So midnight, get instance, game screen. How do I get the player? I think that's going to be good enough there, and then we'll say ground item manager dot add that. Okay. And then owner inventory remove item. I don't know. Add new item. No. Okay. So this is gonna go back to the Midnight RPG game screen. Inventory HUD. Item dot get ID. No, well, quantity is definitely what I'm getting rid of, but I want the item dot get def dot get ID. There we go. So I'm gonna try to remove that. And sorry guys, I gotta top up the old coffee cup. So okay, so removing the item from the inventory. Ooh. Pop a squat back down. All right. So okay. I'm curious if this will work. All right, let's rerun this. My princess just jumped on my lap. So if I right click on this and drop, I get an error. I get lots of errors. Did you see the errors, Maya? You do? You saw the errors too? They spammed like a Christmas tree. Those of you wondering, I'm talking to my little kitty. She's my little coding cat. She's always here with me. And she likes to sit on my lap and watch me code. And she likes to watch the mouse cursor go around and text fly everywhere. So she was sitting here crying. Meow. You saw the error? Meow. She's cute. All right. So context, no selected item for dropping. Okay. So getting the selected game item. Okay. But I never actually set the selected item to anything. Okay, so when I create the option, panel.setSelected. Okay, so when I click on the menu is when I need to say the panel. Okay, so context option. This gets created inside of sloth. Okay, so if the panel is of here, this is the item here that we got. So I want to set the selected item. I am setting that. Okay. That sets it for this panel. And if the panel is of inventory HUD, we do this here, context menu with options. Okay. So I need to set the selected object for the context menu. Okay, so the context menu is going to need to know a selected entity. No, it's going to be nullable. Okay, it is going to be nullable. Okay, so alright, so doing this for this, da 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 da, with this, not this, with this, with selected entity item. And item is not an entity. Why is item not an entity? What? Item is game item. And a game item is an entity. Wrong entity. That's an engine's entity. That's the wrong entity. Oh, okay. 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 So I don't know what this is going to be. This is just going to be a Java object. And this is going to be uh, same thing. It's just going to be a Java object. It's going to be a very broad Java object. We're just going to generic the hell out of this. So we're setting the selected item to be that of this item. Now, in the context menu, our item is now the menu selected item. Okay. So now if we come back into it, we pop into this, open up our item, right click on our staff and drop that sucker. Still get more errors. just continue to get errors for as long as I hold my mouse over this. Okay, cool. Cool, 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 cool. The item is supposed to be this, but it's not. Okay, so what? Alright, throw a breakpoint here, turn this eye onto here, running into here, do this, do that, open this, right click, you drop. So the selected item is null. So my selected entity is being set. Okay, what the hell? Okay. So setting my selected entity, this does get passed in as an actual entity, but then it immediately gets overrid when I'm done with this. And so if I handle this, do this, and this is the one click, and it should just do this, display the context menu, and that's when the menu is presented. Okay, so why is the menu not holding that? Like what? Okay, so that is the actual. Okay. So in here, I am getting the menu. Context menu. Okay, so I'm just so confused at the this here because when I right click and say drop, this happens. Okay? And it tells me that the menu is this, and it's even telling you the panel, which is the same thing. It has the four options. It's for the same damn. Yeah, okay. So either way, it's the same thing. It's the same menu, and the menu is the part that I'm. Cats are going wild. All right. So selected entity. Oh, wait a second. Okay, so selected entity is the proper item. Okay, so where am I messing this up with? Okay, because item right here is null, but okay, I gotta go further from that. I am so confused right now. So item is null, but if I come up to menu, right? So I'm in menu, and this item is menu.get selected item, which is selected entity, which does have this definition, is the wooden wand that I clicked. Yes, but that item is null. Okay. Maybe I got too far ahead of myself when I was doing this. Okay, so let's get out of there, run this, and I'm gonna make this real simple. Um, what? Okay, go away. Um, dropping item, index. I don't want that, I want menu dot get selected game item, which if I come back in here is item, set selected item. Okay. So this sets this. The selected item is get item. Okay, whatever. Context menu. Selected entity is this. Is going to be item. Okay. So when I initialize the fucking context menu, the selected entity should be right like that with selected entity, there's that, then okay. Context menu, okay. Um, okay, so the context option is trying to get, yeah, whatever, let's just run that. Dropping item null, okay, so dropping item is null, menu thing, I got selected out. But I'm coming from the context menu that I just had, selected game item. Okay, so when I'm in the menu and I'm setting this, technically what I'm doing is if entity is an instance of game item, Is that what I want? Yeah, I think I want to do that. Um, I don't even know. Just curious. Okay. Selected entity for context menu is item dot toString. Oh, that still doesn't do it right. Uh, hmm. However, it was an instance of game item because it did technically print. It just and it printed what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, which is technically the 5 times that the items can have. Okay, 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 okay. So that is okay, okay. But now player is dropping. That is in the option menu dot get selected. This dot. What about get selected entity? Because like I don't know if this is even making sense to me anymore. Why am I dropping null? Why is that null? What the hell? Because I'm creating this specific option. This specific option. Hmm. Okay, so what if we did context menu, context option? Okay, so this is clearly not doing this. It's passing the frickin' thing in as a selected entity to it. But when I go to retrieve it, it's even coming back saying here. Okay. So right click, we pause this and we come here. So the entity is an item definition of this. Like it's got all of its stuff. I know exactly what it is that it is the item. So now selected entity is this item. So we return this. And it looks like we continue to do it, but whatever way. Mm, finally. Got it. Okay, so now we're dropping item, yada, yada, yada. So dropping item this dot get definition dot get name, just so that it actually prints out what it's dropping. There we go. There we go. So players dropping the wooden staff. So fuck. That was a lot more of a struggle than I thought. So damn. All right. So now we can take the rest of this out. And what we're looking to do is item is selected entity. So, I mean, technically, we're looking to see if object is null, selected entity, nothing here, ground item manager. And we already know that that's good, so, okay. Let's see if this works. And see if I actually remove the item from my inventory. Nope. Nope. Oop. Ooh. Okay. So that's an interesting little find. So what it did there, what it wound up doing there was, so it took a minute to register, and like after a couple of seconds, it attempted to remove the expired ground item. So it tells me that it added a ground item So if I'm just going to mute that for a second, but if I come in here and if I drop it, it theoretically happened, and then it tried to remove it, but it didn't happen because of um, a concurrent modification exception. But I'll deal with that in a minute. But what's happening is it is. Oh, did it? Oh, everything stopped. Okay, so yeah, the game just died. That's cool. Yeah, cool. That died. All right. Well, that's fun. So, okay, okay, okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there, guys. So, what I need to do now is get more coffee, but I need to now see about when I'll fix up the concurrent issue. That's not my concern. My concern is the fact that when I right click and I drop the item, what I need to do is make it remove it from my inventory. And I think I should start with that first and do this in small chunks and aim for little goals, and as opposed to writing everything. I'm bad for trying to write the whole thing in one go, as opposed to breaking it down into like atomic bits. Um, or like breaking it down into little units. Um, so what we got going on now is a little bit of work that needs to get done, a little bit of debugging, and I am about to start my day, so I am going to wrap up this live stream. Um, I will piece together clips from this, and we will. Hey, welcome back again. I don't know if I just missed that or if you're actual back, power trip, but um, I got some things going with the ground, some things with the ground manager. I need to fix a few things that are going on, like it's not actually removing the item from my inventory. I need to do a couple of little bits of debugging and tracing. But taking a look at our little system here, um, so we technically create one, and we do get the slot and item now. We're not removing it from either one of our spots, but we do have this other setup. It does turn out that this has an error, so I'm going to uncheck that one and uncheck this because that's no longer completed. The rest of this does seem to work as we went, so now I've got the inventory drop system um, started. We do need to worry about the other two, but I'm going to continue to pick at this little to-do list for the day, and we'll see where we go from there. Uh, but for now, I am going to wrap things up here, get ready for my day. If you happen to want to chill with me and hang out, I will be in my Discord. I will be in a voice chat, just kind of streaming, picking, maybe a little bit of blogging throughout the day, just kind of recording snippets of me here and there, doing things, working this out, little milestones I get throughout the day. And I will post a video tonight or tomorrow morning, sort of showcasing where I go from here. So make sure you're subscribed so you'll get the ping when I drop my next blog later on this evening or tomorrow morning, depending on just how much work I get done. And make sure, as always, to keep your curiosity open, your skills sharp, and that cup of coffee full. I'll catch you in the next one, guys.